Hopefully I'm centered, hopefully the lighting looks good. Like, I don't know, honestly, it's just one of those days where, like, everything is moving very quickly and... Hi guys, it's a beautiful Tuesday. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me already, I'm Lucas. Yeah, we're just getting really dirty and into the details of the dance world and what I think you should know. So like, welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're not. I'm so thrilled to have you here, and let's begin. I'm here with my coffee today because I'm mucho exhausted and I'm a coffee addict. So there's a lot of auditions going on in the industry right now. Like a lot. Today I had 2, and I've been thinking a lot about auditioning, and even in regards to today, like what went wrong, what didn't go right, what went right, like what I could have done better, what the audition could have done better. I was just thinking it would be really awesome to do some audition tips, and not just the general like be clean with your choreography, like that kind of thing. Like, no, I mean like just some tips on how to conduct yourself, especially in LA auditions, in terms of getting them, in terms of how to think in these auditions. Truthfully, auditioning is a skill. It's something you have to practice to get better at in order to be good at it in the first place. It's always about timing and your look as much as it is your dancing, and there's just 1,000 bajillion factors that go into an audition. So like, if you're not getting all the auditions you're going to, that's normal. In fact, if you're getting all the auditions you're going to, then we should have a face-to-face conversation. I think the statistic that everyone talks about is 90% failure. For me personally, I think it's more. Like, I think auditioning is the hardest way to book a job in LA, but it does happen, and if you are successful in auditioning, I think it can really help you. Anyways, so getting into the meat of today's video, I want to give you 13, whatever side that needs to be in order for it to be correct for your screen, tips to be good at auditioning, and I've written them out for you. 3 are before you get to the audition, and 10 are during/after, and let's just get right into it, because I think this is information that will really help you better yourself, and I'm even excited to learn for myself as I hear myself say these things, because they're smart. Tip number 1, keep your ears open. Because listen, there's auditions happening every day, and you're not getting every single one of them. Doesn't matter if you're a dancer, actor, singer, theater person, like whatever you are, there's auditions happening, you're not going to get every single one of them. You're not meant to get every single one of them. But sometimes there are auditions that you're supposed to get universally, or that you might really want. Maybe there's an artist that you desperately want to work for, but you're not part of the group of people that have been selected or invited to that audition. Keep your ears open, because sometimes casting directors make a mistake. Sometimes you get overlooked in the process of getting an audition, and you want to be very smart about listening and hearing and knowing what's going on. That brings me to number 2. Number 2 is be assertive. If there's an audition and you hear about it and you're like, that's my dream job, I must go to that, contact your agent. Be like, hey, I heard this is going on. It would be so cool if I could get in that room. If not, I understand, but if so, it would be awesome to be in front of these people, because that's really important. This skill of being assertive is what's going to separate you from the people who get signed and never do anything, and the people who get signed and then start to work and start to build their career. That brings me to number 3, and number 3 is plan your life, girl. If the audition's an hour away and you're like, oh, like, I think I know where that is, but you don't really check on maps for the location, and you wake up the next morning, the audition's at 10, you wake up at 9, you leave your house at 9:30, turns out it takes an hour to get there with traffic, that's on you. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing about that. Like, you're screwed. You did that to yourself. You need to look at the email for the audition, read all of it, like 3 or 4 times to make sure you didn't miss any details, and then plan. Do you have to rearrange a shift at work? Do you have to leave your house really early? Where are you gonna get breakfast? What are you gonna wear? Who are you gonna go with? Do you need a ride? Are you gonna carpool? You gotta figure out those details in advance, because if you're scrambling the day of, odds are it's just gonna screw you up. You're not gonna be feeling good during the audition, and then you did that to yourself. Ta-da! Those are my the audition tips. But that brings me to the actual audition. Obviously, everybody's gonna have things that is gonna work for them, and everybody's gonna have things that don't work for them, and it's on you to test these out and figure out which ones work for you. But I think in general, they're all pretty applicable to everybody's life. Number 1, be authentically yourself. What I mean by that is, everybody has something that sets them apart. No two dancers are alike, and you need to know what it is about you that is you, and you need to really stick to that. Even if at first it feels like when you're yourself, it's not working out for you, you think they want other things, I promise you that being yourself is what is going to make you the thing that the casting director or choreographer is gonna look at. Sometimes that's gonna mean getting cut, other times it's gonna mean getting booked on the job. Don't be intimidated when they're like, be super masculine, or we want you to do like this exact movement at this exact time. You have to know how to be yourself. You have to know how to put yourself in the choreography. That thing, that it factor that people are drawn to, happens when you are yourself. Number 2, this goes hand in hand with number 1. Don't remix the choreography if the choreographer is asking for clean. Don't be super clean if the choreographer is asking you to be kind of weird. You want to know the job, you want to know what they're looking for, you want to know when to put yourself in the choreography and when to hit it. Every job is going to need something different, and it's your responsibility to know what this job requires so that you can be what the choreographer / casting director needs you to be. Clean or remix. There's a time for both, figure it out. Number 3, don't be intimidated by the people around you. There's always gonna be someone that you're like, whoa, they look way cooler than me, or whoa, that's a really good dancer, I'm a little stressed, I can't compare with that, or whoa, they just look like they're gonna smash it, and I'm really nervous that I might not. If you're comparing yourself to others, you've already lost the game. You can't. You gotta be your own mountain. Everybody is doing their own thing. Everybody has their own lane. You gotta find that and stick to it. If you compare yourself, you're done. Number 4, find a balance when you're learning the choreography. You don't want to be that dancer that's like full out the whole time and you're like, yes, I'm smashing it. And then like when you get to groups, you're like, what if I'm booking you for a tour and I need you to have endurance? I'm not gonna book that. Because you don't have any endurance. I think, wow, you're already out of breath, you did it once. You also don't want to be the dancer that marks the whole time and doesn't have the choreography. Nobody wants to see a dancer go on the floor and mess up. You gotta do it enough so that you have the choreography, but not so much that you're dying. Self-explanatory, I think. Number 5, this is like maybe the most important thing because it kind of encompasses everything else. You gotta know who's behind the table. Who are you auditioning for? Which artist? Which casting director, which choreographer, what are they looking for? You know, if you're auditioning for a commercial where you need to be a preppy person, maybe don't go full colorful pastel grunge on them. If you're auditioning for a tour that you know is for an artist that's edgy and likes colored hair and likes piercings, maybe don't show up with like a plaid dress shirt and some dress pants because you will get cut. Chopped. Like that. The more you know about who's behind the table and the connection you have to them, the more likely you are to work for them. It's just that simple. So know your shit. Number 6, if you're auditioning pretty much anywhere in the world, you're probably gonna have to slate, which is when you stand in front of the camera and go,
hi, I'm Lucas Parada, I'm 5'7", but 5'8" on a good days, and I'm from Clear Talent Group, and my favorite candy is gummy bears.
Like, it's as simple as that, but the difference between someone who goes,
hi, I'm Lucas Parada, and I'm from Clear Talent Group,
versus someone who goes,
yo, what's up? I'm Lucas Parada and I'm from Clear Talent Group.
Like, the people behind the table are human. They're working with you. They're gonna want someone who's at least entertaining. I mean, ideally professional, but also entertaining because we want to work with people that we like. We don't want to work with like the bitch next door or our enemy. We want to work with our friends. So it's important, I think, to portray yourself as someone who has a personality and isn't a robot moving to LA because they're robotic and that's in their programming. Number 7 and 8 go hand in hand. 7, say goodbye to everyone. Shake their hand, give them a hug, tell them you love them. Probably don't tell them you love them if you just met them. Tell them you admire them. I don't know, something. Like, the more you stand out in their head, the more they're probably going to remember you. And if they remember you, they're more likely to hire you if it's in a positive way. If they remember you as that annoying person who didn't shut up or was annoying to them afterward, then they're not going to hire you. Duh. And number 8, follow them on social media. Social media is a tool nowadays, and you can push against it if you're one of those dancers that like social media is ruining our industry. you know, like regardless of what your opinion is on social media, the fact is that it is a part of the industry now, and you can choose to either use it to your advantage or you can choose to just not be a part of it. And if you're not a part of it, then you're missing out on a part of the world that people are using to create working cast. So if you do connect with these people on social media, then you have an advantage because perhaps they'll follow you back and then they're watching your content and they're seeing you. And that's important. That's how jobs work. Number 9, I'm speeding up because I'm going really slowly and I want to keep your attention because this is important information. When you're going in an audition, you can either go in the beginning of the audition during groups, in the middle of the audition during groups, in the end of the audition during groups. Where you go in the audition largely depends on when you arrive usually. If you arrive at the beginning of sign-in, you're going to go earlier because you'll be first on the sign-in sheet. If you arrive later, you're going to go later because you're not first on the sign-in sheet. For me personally, I like to go right away. Some people are like, no, you want to be last in their mind, but like usually you're on camera and I don't really think it matters that much. That's just my personal opinion. I like to go first because the choreo is fresh in my body and I know what I'm doing and I'm ready to go. If I wait an hour and a half because there's 100 groups ahead of me, I'm gonna forget it. Like, duh. Of course you're gonna forget it if you wait an hour. Like, I can't even remember a combo 5 minutes after I leave class. How am I supposed to remember it an hour after I learned it? Find what works best for you. Maybe you're the kind of person that needs time to marinate and market on the side. So know that about yourself and do what's gonna make you feel most confident when you're auditioning. I promise you it will really pay off. 10, the final one, the final piece of advice. This is really 13, but like the first 3, you know, I did for like the pre, so I like gave them their own numbers. Like, I don't know, you get the idea. Be courteous, stay positive. This is an etiquette tip, but the reality is if you're sitting outside and you just got cut from an audition and you're pissed about it, you're stewing because you thought you were gonna get that job and you say, man, fuck that audition, I hated that choreography. And there's a person next door that is maybe casting or in the next room that like is associated with the creative director, the choreographer, whatever. Listen, you ain't gonna book that job. You might not book another job ever if word gets out that you said something like that. We all need to vent. We all have to say negative things to get it off our chest. It's human. Do it in a private place. Don't do it in a place where the CEO of Mac is next to you and you don't even know it and you're like, oh, I don't even know why I'm here. Like, I hate Mac products. Guess who ain't gonna get that check? You. Yeah, I just think it's always best to stay positive and be courteous and be kind in an audition atmosphere. People are gonna remember that. People are gonna respond to that. Kindness is always better than being the bitch next door. So, with that said, I think those are all the tips I have for you today. Should there be more, I will present them to you in a different video, but at the moment, that's all I have. Take what you like, leave the rest. I think they're all brilliant pieces of advice, but if they don't work for you, they don't work for you. Everybody's gonna develop their own style of auditioning, and that's okay, and that's important. At the end of the day, you just gotta know what works for you. Anyways, that's all the time I have for you today, because I gotta go finish my coffee. I didn't even like drink it, because I was speaking so fast, and I'll be back really soon with another video on something relevant, and I can't wait to share it with you. It's gonna be incredible. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment box below if you feel like I missed something or you have feedback on something that you think worked or didn't work. I want to hear your stories. Also, feel free to follow me on every single social media ever created ever, except I don't have like Pinterest or like Flickr or any of those things. Also, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time, kittens.